I'm Tom Berg, T-O-M-B-E-R-G. I am the First Assistant District Attorney. I'm here on behalf of Kim Ogg, who is out of town today. I'm here to announce that we are dismissing the indictment against Andre Jackson, who had been charged in the murder of Josue Flores. We are dismissing the indictment today because, as of yesterday, we had received DNA analysis, which makes it impossible for us to go forward at this time with a case that we think we could prove beyond a reasonable doubt. We had been waiting for the better part of a year for the outcome of the DNA evidence in an effort to link him to the homicide. The results of the DNA and the blood analysis are at best inconclusive and in some respects exclude him as a suspect in the case. Rather than risk double jeopardy by trying to go to trial in a case where the evidence is too weak and then be forever barred from going after him or anybody else for practical purposes, it is our decision at this time to dismiss the charges and release the man from jail. I have with me Tiffany Dupree, who is our senior prosecutor, who has been handling the case and doing the workup. She'll be able to answer some questions for you about the nature and the circumstances that brought us here today. Let me pass this over to her for the moment. You want to spell your name for them?
Tiffany Dupree, Tiffany Dupree.
Are there any questions?
Can you walk us through how you got to this process and sort of talk about that year? What's been going on for the past year?
Most importantly, we've been waiting on the results of the DNA testing that was being completed at multiple labs. That's partially why it took so long. We sought out the expertise of many individuals in their field. We also have reviewed, of course, all of the witness statements, video footage, made a complete timeline of the events, and after a thorough review of the evidence, we have reached the conclusion at this time we are unable to proceed to a trial on Andre Jackson.
I know back when he was arrested, the DA's office said that there were eyewitness accounts as well that pointed to Andre Jackson. The DNA evidence, you feel, is stronger than those eyewitness accounts, obviously?
That's not what we're saying. We have reviewed and I don't want to get into what the eyewitnesses say because it is still an ongoing homicide investigation at this point. But what we can tell you is that the DNA that we were able to collect is inconclusive as to him. And without the additional DNA evidence at this time, we can't go forward. Not to say if technology improves, maybe some additional DNA would develop. But at this point, we've exhausted all measures on that.
Is Andre Jackson still a suspect in the Flores murder?
He is a suspect.
Are there other suspects?
It's an ongoing investigation, so I don't want to comment on all that the homicide division has, but he is still a suspect.
Did the DA's office receive conflicting tips regarding whether Andre Jackson was involved compared to other possible suspects?
No, we haven't received conflicting tips.
Have you spoken to the family?
Absolutely. Tom Berg, myself, and another member of our team went out to their house this morning. We met with them on their porch. Obviously, they are disappointed, but they want justice for Josue Flores, and they want us to be able to prove the case and have sufficient evidence to make the case.
What confidence level should the public have that the next man who fits the description and is picked up by HPD will, and charged in connection with this case, will actually be prosecuted?
There is a very strong team of individuals working on this case. We will continue working on this case, and you have to look at the evidence that you have at that time, regardless of what's happened in the past. And if the evidence is sufficient to arrest, charge, and convict somebody, then that is what the community needs to look to.
But the DA said, the last DA said, we have the right man. They said that multiple times. Why should the public believe you guys now?
I wasn't involved at the beginning of the investigation, so I don't know what they had or what the evidence they were using to speak on that. What I can tell you is that at this time we don't have sufficient evidence to go forward. We are not saying that Andre Jackson is innocent and is excluded as a suspect. We're just saying at this point, if we tried this case to a jury, we don't feel that we could secure a conviction. And like Mr. Berg said, double jeopardy would attach and would prevent us from being able to try him again later. So we want to make sure that we have all of the evidence that we need to secure a conviction when we go to trial.
Has Mr. Jackson been released?
That he'll be processed out of the jail. They're working on that.
Any leads on this case?
They are investigating the case. They will continue investigating the case fully.
Was there some surveillance video that seemed to identify him that is not considered conclusive then?
I would agree with that statement. There is surveillance video that he is identified in, but it is not conclusive.
I just wanted to add, there were some questions about what makes this administration different from the previous one. As Kim Ogg has said many times, we are evidence-based. We have to follow the evidence, whether it pleases us or it causes us discomfort. This was a very difficult decision that we had to make. We held off until we had every last bit of evidence that we could gather before making this decision, but then the evidence drives this conclusion at this point. And so we've made this hard decision today. We met with the family. I spoke with them in Spanish. They are in agreement that it would be wrong to hold a man in jail when there's not sufficient evidence to convict him. They want justice for Josue, and we do too.
Follow up on that, you said you held off on making this decision until you had every bit of evidence. What was the earliest point at which you suspected that you might have to make this decision?
Well, we've been waiting for this evidence from the DPS lab for a long time. We know that we either had it or didn't. When we got it back yesterday, we knew we didn't have it.
What happens next? How do you move forward on this?
Well, it's an open investigation. So the Houston Police Department will investigate this as an open homicide. And we're not closing our files. We're not forgetting Josue.
What type of DNA evidence was tested?
There was an effort to gather DNA evidence from all the clothing that was involved, both from Josue's body and from the property that was seized from Mr. Jackson, to try and match either DNA from blood or from any other source. We tested a variety of knives and cutting instruments that were found in the area to see if we could get matching blood. There was a lot that was done. Unfortunately, there was not much that was produced as a result. That's where the science is right now, and that's what we got.
What piece of evidence do you believe contains evidence from the suspect in this case that did not match what was tested from Mr. Jackson? Does that make sense?
No, that didn't make sense.
So there's a piece of evidence that was tested in which the DNA was found to not belong to Mr. Jackson.
Well, obviously, Mr. Jackson's DNA is on his clothing, but none of Josue's DNA was on his clothing. Vice versa, on Josue's clothing, there was no DNA evidence of Mr. Jackson. So that's what happens. There's no match, which is what we had to be looking for in order to make the affirmative links. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you have DNA that you excluded from Josue, or DNA material that you excluded from Josue or his immediate family that you're like, well, this is somebody's DNA, we'd like to find out who this is? Are you in that position?
I can't say that we're in that position at this point. The science is evolving, and we hope that we'll develop more in time.
Can we hear from Mr.
Sure.
Flores?
Good afternoon.
What was your reaction when you heard this news from the DA's office, and what was your client's reaction? Have you spoken to him about this?
I have not had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Jackson yet. I was not surprised since about November of last year. My office and myself, we were convinced that Mr. Jackson could not have committed this offense. We've spent a great deal of time going over the evidence, going out to the scene, driving it, walking it, going over everything that the district attorney's office had provided to us. And so our concerns, we had voiced our concerns to the DA's office last year. Ms. Dupree has been really pretty terrific in organizing and making sure that the DNA has been followed through, and we've been able to keep track of which labs were where, what was the status of the DNA over this last number of months. So again, my office too, we were waiting for those results from the DNA. Quite frankly, I was not surprised of the, given the results.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I mean, my office staff here, Gloria Poa and Sonia Barana, have spent hours going through the videotapes and witness statements and that sort of thing. And so, no, I was not surprised. I would have been surprised if it had been the opposite, the reverse.
The DA's office says that he's still a suspect.
Yes, they do. I am not concerned about it.
I know he's being processed right now. Is he going to be released today or tomorrow?
Probably today. I'm not exactly sure.
So you're not concerned about it? You don't have any concerns, fears that he's going to be rearrested at some point down the road?
No, I'm not. No, I do not.
He was arrested, I believe, at the Salvation Army last year. What are his plans? Do you know where he goes from here?
I do not know his plans. I know his family is very eager to have him back home, and they don't live here in Houston. So,
Charles, what convinces you that he's innocent? You said you walked his route, you did a lot of outside research. Can you tell us anything about that?
I have also had an opportunity to look at the videos and the evidence that was provided to us. So it's everything that I think the district attorneys would have probably have introduced at trial. So we would have been prepared to go to trial too, but I think the DA's office made the right decision.
Could you give us your name again, please?
Jerome Godnich.
Could you spell it?
Godinich.
You the attorney for?
Yes.
There's been a lot of talk about DNA evidence, obviously, in the last 20 years, exonerating people. What message do you think this sends to the public, to the criminal justice system, in terms of the outcome of this case?
Well, I mean, DNA evidence, I mean, sometimes it helps the defense, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it is what it is. In this particular case, it has helped Mr. Jackson. You know, as a criminal defense attorney, and I go to trial quite a bit, we see DNA all the time. And we just have to work with it. And I don't know what more I can say. It sometimes helps us a lot. It helps exonerate folks. And sometimes it also helps show that the person may have committed this offense. So, thank you.
Spanish.
Well, in a moment, we have a representative from Crime Stoppers, and we would like to make an announcement since this is, again, an open investigation.
My name is Jeff McShannon with Crime Stoppers of Houston, and you can remember all the emotion behind this case last May. We've had a number of tips that did come in, and again, we're back there at square one now. We need, obviously, facts, information, evidence that will help not only the district attorney's office in their prosecution of this case, but also the homicide detectives that have been working on this. So we are asking and pleading to the public for their help to once again come forward for this young man and give us a call at our number 713-222-TIPS. We're back at square one. We need the evidence. So whoever did this to Mr. Flores will be able to find that person and present that to the DA's office. Thank you very much.
Now, if you want some commentary in Spanish. ¿Algún comentario en español?
Sí, cuéntenos un poco qué es lo que pasó.
Sí, claro. Tenemos que rechazar las acusaciones en contra de Andre Jackson, quien estaba acusado de matar a Josue Flores el año pasado. El motivo para rechazar las acusaciones es que acabamos de ayer recibir los comprobantes de ADN del Departamento de Seguridad Pública del Estado de Texas y no eran suficientes para comprobar que él es la persona que mató a Josué.
Cuéntame un poco, dice que no encontraron la ADN de Josué en el señor Jackson y viceversa, la del señor Jackson en Josué.
Así fue, así fue.
¿Me puede contar un poco de eso?
Bueno, revisaron la ropa de ambos para averiguar si había comprobantes de sangre o de ADN del uno en el otro y no había, simplemente no había.
¿Continúa siendo Andrew Jackson un sospechoso en la muerte de Josué o quién es el principal sospechoso ahora?
Bueno, sigue siendo uno de los sospechosos, pero estamos empezando de nuevo.
¿Cómo puede ser sospechoso si han retirado los cargos y no hay ninguna evidencia? Es lo que no entiendo yo.
Bueno, no tenemos evidencias suficientes para ir adelante a un juicio, porque en este país, si uno tiene juicio y sale con inocencia por veredicto del jurado o por orden de la corte porque no hay suficientes pruebas, así se acabe el caso para siempre. Y no podremos procesarlo de nuevo aunque hayamos otras pruebas en el futuro. Queremos evitar eso.
¿Qué es lo que va a hacer la Fiscalía del Condado Harris para otra vez tener la confianza de la gente? No importa realmente si fue otra fiscal o quien haya sido, pero la Fiscalía del Condado Harris, y ustedes dijeron que ya tenían a una persona detenida y que era la persona encargada o acusada del homicidio.
Okay, como
¿Qué van a hacer ustedes
como
para-
expliqué en inglés hace ratito, nosotros, la Fiscalía de Kemal, estamos a base de la evidencia. Y la evidencia es lo que nos guía si uno es culpable o no es culpable. Tenemos que enfrentarlo, sea lo que sea de las consecuencias. En esto vamos a seguir adelante. No vamos a olvidar a Josué, queremos justicia para él y para su familia. Solo puedo decirles que vamos a seguir adelante con la investigación, aunque tenemos que empezar casi de nuevo.
Comentaba que platicó con los familiares de Josué más temprano. ¿De qué
Sí.
se trató esa conversación? ¿Cómo tomaron ellos esta noticia?
Fue un golpe, seguro. Y se notaba en sus caras que fue un golpe. Pero expliqué la situación y las circunstancias a ellos y ellos entendían y estaban de acuerdo con nosotros que no era justo mantener encarcelado a un hombre sin tener suficientes pruebas para condenarlo en una corte. Y no están contentos con las circunstancias ni con la seguridad en su comunidad. Están preocupados porque son gente pobre y ellos piensan que eso tiene algo que ver con el resultado, que si tenían más dinero o si eran de otro color, quizás el resultado sería diferente. Pero yo les dije que ese no es asunto de dinero ni de color de piel, simplemente son las circunstancias de las pruebas que tenemos y que no vamos a olvidarnos de Josué y vamos a seguir adelante. Y en esto se quedaron conformes.
Dice que va a empezar la investigación desde cero. ¿Qué es lo que van a estar viendo ahora ustedes? O sea, que van a regresar otra vez a ver evidencia.
Ok, bueno, no estamos empezando a cero, pero más o menos sí estamos empezando de nuevo con la policía. La investigación se queda con el HPD.
¿Y qué va a pasar ahora con el señor Jackson? ¿Va a salir de la cárcel?
Va a salir de la cárcel, va a reunirse con su familia. Me acaban de decir que viven afuera de la ciudad de Houston. A lo mejor eso es mejor, ¿no?
Gracias.
Okay, if there are no further questions, that concludes it. Thank you.